Today we're going to talk about dividing with two-digit divisors using area models. So another strategy for two-digit divisors, and write the date in your table of contents. Division, two-digit divisors, area models. And this is MBT 6, and this is page 17 or 16 for me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. So division, two-digit divisors with area models. Okay, today we're going to look at the problem 2050 divided by 32. Again, this is my divisor, this is my dividend, and then the answer will be my quotient. So I'm going to set up my area model box like normal. My divisor goes on the outside. My dividend goes inside the box. Okay. Now, 32 is not necessarily an easy number to count by and try to figure out exactly how many times it will go into 2050. However, an easy number that's close to 32 is 30. So when you're dividing with a two-digit divisor and you're using area model, you can write an easy number down below to help you figure out what you want to count by. Now, I don't know how many times 30 or 32 will go into 2050, but if I start with my first digit, I know it won't go into 2. I know it's too big to go into 20, but 205 it will go into. So I'm going to think to myself, using those first 3 digits, what times 32 would be close to 205? Well, I can easily count by 30s because I know how to count by 3s. So if I count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and then the next one would be 21. Well, when I'm counting by 3s, I know there's a 0 that has to go on the end of that because this is 30. So I'm going to think 3 times or 30 times 6 is 180. That's pretty close to 205. Okay, so that means that 32 times 6 is probably going to get me close to 205. So over on the side, I'm going to try to do on the side of my paper, or I can actually work it out down here below my box. 32 times 6 and see what I get there. How did I get this 6? Well, I used an easy number that was close to 32, and I counted by it, and I said, oh, if I count by my easy number 6 times, I get pretty close to what I need to as far as a number in my dividend. So let me try my actual divisor times 6. So 6 times 2 is 12, carry my 1. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 more is 19, so I get 192. That's super close to 205. So I can put a 6 up here because I just multiplied 6 times my divisor, which is 32. And 6 times 32 was 192. Now I have one more place value, which means I can add a 0 up here and a 0 right here. Okay? And I can subtract this number. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. Here I can't take 9 away from 0, so I have to change this to a 10. Put a 1 here. 10 minus 9 is 1. So I have 130 left over. Okay. Cross these out. Now again, I know that my easy number is 30 because it's going to be hard to count by 32s to get to 130. But I can count by 30s and see how close I can get, and then take that number and multiply it by my actual divisor. So when I count by 30s, or I count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, if I add that 0, that would be 120. So 3 times 4 gave me 12. If I add that 0, that would be 120. And that's pretty close to 130. So let's try multiplying 32 times 4. How did I get the 4? I used my easy number, counted by my easy number 4 times and got close to this. So now I multiply my actual divisor by that number. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. I got 128, and that's super close to 130. So now I can write 4 up here, and I got 128. I don't have any place values left, so it's just 4. When I subtract, can't take 8 away from nothing, so this becomes a 10, this becomes a 2. 10 minus 8 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0. So because this 2 is smaller than 32, this is my remainder. So I add my partial quotients together. 60 plus 4 is 64, remainder 2. Okay? 64, remainder 2. All right, I want you to try using this strategy with the next problem that I'm going to write up here. Okay? 4,032 divided by 79. I'm going to get it set up for you. 79 goes on the outside of my box. On the inside of my box goes 4,032. Now, it's really hard for me to determine how many times 79 will go into this number. But an easy number that's close to 79 is 80. Okay? When I look at this number, I know that 79 can't go into 4. 79 can't go into 40, but it can go into 403. So when I think about it, multiplying by or counting by 8s, because this is my easy number that helps me figure out what I should multiply 79 by over here. So if I count by 8s, I have 8, 16, I have 24, I have 32, and then I have 40. Well, 40 is really close, and that was 8 times 5. Okay? And if I think 8 times 5 is 40, add that next 0, that would be 400, and that's close to that 403 that we need. So now I'm going to try my actual divisor, 79 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 4 more is 39. So I got 395, and that's super close. So up here I'm going to put a 5 because I multiplied 79 times 5. How did I get that 5? I used my easy number to figure out a good number that I can multiply this by. Okay? So I got 395. I have one more place value, so I'm going to add a 0 up here and a 0 right here. When I subtract 2 right there, this 3 becomes a 13. This becomes a 10 and then a 9 because I borrowed, and this becomes a 3. So 13 minus 5 leaves me with 13 minus 5 leaves me with, what is it, 8. And then 9 minus 9 is 0. So then I have 82 left over here. Well, I know 79 goes into 82 one time. Okay? 1 times 79 is 79. Finish this problem out and write your completed answer over here. Okay? And we'll talk more about this tomorrow in class.